Back at the McLean Barbershop, 918 Talk of the Town. This episode 10, final episode of season 1. We got Dillon Stoner, a legend in the Jenks America. Dillon, we appreciate you coming here, man. We
Appreciate
really
y'all.
Thank that.
Thank you. Thank you
Yes,
for letting
sir.
me come on.
We know who you are. We heard some good things about you. Of course, we watched you play in high school. We was coaching at Memorial when you was in high school. Take the people through your journey, like where you started at. Was you a JTA kid? Did you move in? Take the people through your journey of where you started playing ball at.
Yeah, born and raised here. I lived. The front of my neighborhood was Jenks. The back was Bixby, so I'm kind of on the fringe there. Luckily, my parents picked the right house.
Bixby been roll there.
They have. But man, grew up two awesome parents, two younger sisters. Grew up playing all the sports. Did everything from tennis, soccer, football, basketball, track, all that. And then got to high school, just kind of stuck with football and track, and was starting to get some attention with football, and then kind of rolled from there. But yeah, played JTA all the way through, born and raised here, and it's been fun.
Was your JTA team good?
INFC champs.
INFC champ? What grade was
Seventh
it?
grade.
Who'd y'all beat? Oh, y'all didn't play the Bulldogs, did? Because they didn't have
We played another Jinx team.
Oh, okay.
It was two
okay.
Jinx teams, and we came out on top.
Did you ever beat a Bulldogs team?
No, we got worked by Bulldogs. Fifth grade INFC championship.
Do you remember who was on their team?
Man, I can't remember. I try to forget it, honestly. I think we lost like 35-0.
Oh, okay.
And
Yeah,
they may have stopped keeping score. I mean, it was bad.
I got you.
Okay,
Yeah.
so take us through your high school career when you went to Jenks. Did you play any of your freshman year in high school?
No, so I was I just played freshman ball, and then I ran varsity track. So I ran with Jordan Smallwood, Steven and those guys. And then sophomore year, I just played corner. I didn't play any offense all year. And then
Did you start?
Yeah.
Okay.
And my first start was Trinity. We went down to South
Trinity
Lake
Valley.
Yeah.
Okay.
And played Trinity at South Lake Carroll in Texas, and then kind of rolled on from there, and then started playing offense junior year, and then really played defense more than I did offense in high school.
So was it like, hey, let's give Dillon the ball, you know what I mean? He's special, or was it like, coach, let me play a little offense, or they kind of came to you about it?
Yeah, I mean, so I did all the receiver stuff at practice my sophomore year, but we had guys like Stephen Parker, Dylan Harding, Austin Casillas was a great receiver too, and like I was like, man,
That's one thing about being at them big schools, though. You really don't play both ways as much as you really should,
right?
though.
Right. I mean, it was like one of those things. Once we got to the playoffs, I was like, man, I'm just going to focus on defense for the rest of the year. And then those guys graduated, and then played more of an offensive role junior and senior year, and got to play with Carson Epps. Went on to play Iowa State.
Iowa State, yeah. That's right.
His brother went to Kentucky. He's at TU now.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, I mean that's kind of how it started, and then I got recruited to play both ways, defense and offense. Some schools offered me for both, and to figure out.
And was you highly recruited? Take us through something like who all recruited you, if you remember.
So my big three was Oklahoma State, Texas Tech, and Arkansas.
Okay.
And Arkansas offered me for safety at the time. And I had Washington State, Kansas. Arkansas State was my first offer, and then I think Wyoming. I think that's all I had. And then I always saw myself as more of an offensive player, so Oklahoma State's air raid offense.
Was that the only one that offered you for offense, Oklahoma State?
Arkansas was one of the only to offer me for defense.
Oh, okay, I got you.
And then the rest saw me as a receiver. So it was between Tech and Oklahoma State, and my mom went to Oklahoma State, so grew up going to games and stuff there, and it was kind of a no-brainer for me to end up there.
So going back to Jenks a little bit, how many state championships did you win?
We went 4 for 4.
4 for 4.
Yeah.
So where do you rank your Jenks team amongst all the Jenks team?
My sophomore year we went undefeated and won it. And that class was low. That was Stephen Parker's year and Dillon Harding's year and those guys. And man, I just remember like going to the games and I wasn't really nervous. I was most nervous to not let them down. I was like,
you knew y'all was gonna win.
I know they're gonna do their job. Just don't screw anything up for them.
Yeah.
So I mean, it was just like every game we're like, man, we got it in the bag.
Who'd y'all play in the state championship?
Let's see, sophomore year, I think we played Union.
Okay.
Who was the running back from Union that went to K-State?
K-State.
I can't think of his name.
Jeremy Smith went to OSU. Wasn't
No,
Jeremy?
he was big dude, ripped up. Oh man, I can't think of his name.
I can't think either.
Man, but they were talented.
Uh-huh.
But we just had that.
So since a kid, you grew up a Jenks Trojan, going to all the high school games. And I done seen some teams, because I graduated in 02, so like the Rocky Calmuses, the Legion of Doom, all those guys.
Yeah.
Do you rank your sophomore team, from what you remember, as one of the best ever?
I think we're up there. I mean, going undefeated and winning it, that's that speaks for itself. But like you said, there's guys in the past that they were also untouchable. But I think we're in that conversation. I don't know if we are the team, but I think we're in that conversation. Okay. Yeah.
All right. So we go to OSU. We commit. We sign to OSU.
Yep.
What was the biggest adjustment, like from high school to freshman? Because shout out to Coach Martin. I was talking to Coach Martin this morning. He said the thing that set you apart was your work ethic. You said you would not let nobody outwork you. And of course, another shout out to Jordan Johnson, who's at Owasso, one of the best strength coaches, real dude.
Yeah.
Do you think having Jordan Johnson and your work ethic made you your transition a little bit easier going to OSU?
Yeah, I think there's no doubt, and I think track played a part in that as well. Just shout out to Steve Patterson. He was our track coach in high school, and man, he ran me from 100 to 800. I did everything in between.
Gotcha.
So I was in the best shape I'd ever been in, working out with Coach Johnson, and just having that in my back pocket with kind of the mindset of, I'm going to come in here and I'm just going to work and we'll see what happens. But it was good, man. It was a good transition. And then,
so you had Coach Glass at OSU too, right? Okay, so he's one of the best too. So you had the best, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I go from the best from the best. Yeah, it's like,
exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it was awesome. I had a great freshman training camp and stuff, or whatever they call it, fall camp. And started to play some, find my role, and then I break my foot.
So you did play a little bit your freshman year?
Yeah, I played the first 4 games, then I medicaled, and then I got 2 pins put in my foot, and then I was done. I was on in a boot and crutches for a long time, and then even that spring I didn't do anything. I was kind of on my own, like trying to start running again, start cutting again, and then I didn't do anything until my redshirt freshman summer. So I had a long break. And
so coming back to your redshirt freshman year, did you play that year?
Yeah, I came back healthy. It was a weird injury. It was like I first felt it in fall camp, like a sharp pain in my foot, and then it went away. And I was like, that was weird. And then fast forward to the first game, and it's like nonstop pain all the time. And I go into the training room, and they x-ray it, can't find anything. It was a stress fracture in my navicular, which is like right in the middle of your foot. And that bone doesn't get a lot of blood flow through it.
Gotcha.
So I didn't know this till afterwards, but they were like, yeah, we weren't sure if you were ever going to come back from that.
Like ever?
Ever. That would have been, I got lucky. Praise to God.
Yeah, for sure.
God's plan. But yeah, it was. I didn't realize how big of a deal it was till after. I was like, man.
I got you.
Yeah, so.
And so how was your redshirt freshman year after the medical? Like, did you put up big numbers like freshman, sophomore, or junior year?
Yeah, I was always with guys like James Washington and Chris Lacey, Marcel Aitman, Tylen, Landon Wolf. Like, I was always surrounded by
my guy. Shout out Landon. Yeah.
Love Landon. Yeah. Very talented receivers. And at Oklahoma State, you really don't move around a whole lot. Like, it's kind of like outside guys stay outside, slot stays slot. And I played slot up until my redshirt junior year when Tylen went down with his ACL, and then I moved outside. So I had decent numbers, but I was just trying to do whatever we could to win, really.
And who was your quarterback?
I had Mason Rudolph.
Okay.
I had Taylor Cornelius. I had Spencer Sanders, and I had Drew Brown.
Oh, okay.
So who's some of the toughest defensive backs you ever played against?
In college.
In college.
Like,
you're like, man, I can't get open.
Yeah, right. There was a couple times I was thinking that going against TCU, Jeff Gladney, rest in peace.
Oh, yeah, he did.
He was one heck of a player.
First rounder, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
First rounder to the Vikings. And then Tulsa's own Trey. He's just Trey Brown. He can fly, man. The dude can move. Yeah. You think you got him on, you feel like you got him on a move, and then like you start running again, and he's right back on your hip, and you're like, damn.
Did you play against him in high school?
Yes.
You did?
Yeah.
How'd you do against him?
That was like back when I was predominantly defense. Like
I didn't.
There were a few reps, but it wasn't anything like, we're going 1-on-1 all day, because I had like every other series I'm kind of going in on offense.
So Gladney and Trey is probably the toughest.
Trey, those two just fundamentally sound, fast, athletic. They're just hard to beat, hard to get open. For sure. Yeah.
Did you have some guys in your locker room that was a real deal also?
Yeah, no doubt about it. We had AJ Green.
Yeah, you did.
He's with the Browns now. Rodarius Williams is with the Giants. Mm-hmm. Christian Holmes just got drafted to the Commanders. Every time I want to say every time.
He wore number 0 at OSU, right? Yeah. Okay, yeah.
And then Trey Flowers played safety for us, and now he's playing corner. Started with the Seahawks. He's with Cincinnati now, and he's just so lengthy and so fast. I mean, he's a freak athlete.
Practicing against those guys made you ready for like the Big 12?
For sure. I mean, all 4 of those guys are in the NFL now. So going against that type of talent every day and seeing that type of talent, it's. You have confidence going into the game, saying, I've just practiced with some of the best guys in the Big 12.
For sure.
Mm-hmm. So, you played at Jenks, played at OSU. Mm-hmm. You probably played the two biggest rivalries in sports history.
No doubt.
How was it playing in the Jenks Union rivalry and compared to playing in OU-OSU rivalry?
Man, I think it's just it's a similar feel, but just a much bigger scale. You go from packing out TU, which is, it feels like there's a million people there. It does. Yeah. And then going to, Norman, and then there's not an empty seat in the whole place. It's just like, it's the same feeling, same like excitement that you get, but just the people that are watching and knowing it's nationally televised and all that. It gives me goosebumps thinking about it. Going
Which
back.
one made you more nervous though?
I'd say Bedlam.
For real?
Yeah, just because of
the stage you're on,
the history of it, and usually those were all big games for us, critical game in our season.
Yeah, for sure.
Unfortunately, I was never on a winning side of that.
Also, you over.
I went over. Yeah. I went over, man. I'm glad they got one back last year. Though,
for sure.
But yeah, they were normally pretty good games. I remember the shootout with Baker.
At OSU,
in Stillwater.
Oh yeah, sure.
How'd you play that game?
They were feeding James, man. They were feeding James
and
that
that's
game.
when they was feeding Hollywood Brown, right?
Hollywood went off. That was fun though, because Steve and I got to play against each other for the first time. So it was fun, man. I had a few catches, but I didn't light up the stat sheet that game.
So we get done at OSU. Mm-hmm. Walk us through your NFL draft process, like. Was you getting told that you was going to get drafted or free agency? Like, walk us through that day. Did you have a draft party? Or just tell us, how that went for you.
Yeah, so I trained right after the season. I went straight to Denver, Colorado. I trained at a place called Lando Performance. Shout out to Lando. Great people, great guys. And that's kind of when, the interviews start happening, the Zoom calls, talk to the Raiders and some other teams. And, they're talking to my agent, we think we're going to get him late round. He's like a late round of free agent guy. And then come last day, I'm thinking, it sounds like it's going to happen. It sounds like I'm going to be late round draft pick. And so all I had was my parents, my wife, and one of my friends. And we were just kind of sitting by the TV all day.
You didn't go to the combine?
No.
How'd you do with your pro day?
I did good. I felt like I put up the numbers that I needed to. And I thought it went well. So I can't complain about the pro day. And then, so you're kind of sitting and then your phone starts ringing. You're like, oh, this is the call, and then they're setting up free agents. So that's kind of when I figured that's how it's going to pan out for me. So when that happens, there was like 3 or 4 teams like trying to negotiate a deal. And going back to the draft process, I felt like I knew the Raiders the best because of the
Gotcha.
interviews that I had and talked to those coaches and felt like, I knew them and they knew me, and it just felt like a good fit.
Okay. So you choose the Raiders,
Mm-hmm.
sign with the Raiders, and you go to rookie mini camp,
Mm-hmm.
OTAs, you do all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
How did you feel? Like, did you like? I mean, I could play at this level.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
was you confident in yourself?
I was. The biggest jump for me was the playbook. I mean,
got
you
you.
go
Oh,
from
good.
a pretty vanilla
Uh-huh.
college playbook to a Bible of
Yeah.
a
And then the
playbook.
language, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's
Uh-huh.
totally different.
Uh-huh.
So it was just like every day there's new install and new things you have to learn and how they want you to run particular routes and stuff. And it's just like, I know I can play. I just got to get the plays down,
Yes.
So
Uh-huh.
studying all the time. But once I was able to get that down, I felt like I was in a good place and starting to find my groove. And
How
and
long
go
did that
from there.
take? Like in the middle of training camp, mini camp, OTAs?
Man, it took, I'd say I didn't feel fully comfortable with it until we were done and out of preseason. So the
Wow.
OTAs till all the way through training camp and preseason.
Damn.
Yeah. I mean,
Golly.
it's just so much at receiver. I mean,
Mhm.
quarterbacks is the toughest thing to learn on the field, obviously, but receiver, you got to know every route, how every route changes, based
of
off
coverages.
coverages and
Yeah.
looks and motions and this and that and who to block on these run plays compared to other run plays,
got
and
you.
it's just
Yeah.
like it's a never-ending
So
cycle
your
of
head
them
was
at
spinning the first
man.
2 months.
I was like, I don't know if I can freaking figure this
Seriously?
stuff out. I mean, it was a
Didn't-
lot.
Did you have anybody take you on the wing? Like, hey, this is.
Yeah, so I had the biggest guy that helped me the most was Zay Jones. He
Okay.
just signed with the Jaguars,
Uh-huh.
and he took me under his wing, man, and really helped me, like, taught me how he learned the plays and what he did, and I kind of adopted that, and then that's when I felt like I could finally
Gotcha.
breathe again and like manage it all. So big shout out to Zay, and really all those guys. There's really no one that would give you the cold shoulder if you
Oh,
asked for
okay,
like
that's
help
cool.
or whatever. So
So we
that was
we
cool.
usually have a lot of kids that watch this show,
Mhm.
and they all say hey, they want to make it to the league.
Mhm.
Like, give them a day in the life at training camp,
Mhm.
and also give them a day in the life, like in the season, like a Wednesday practice, or like a day in the life, like during training camp. Is it really a 7 to 5 job, like meetings, practice, eat, meetings, and
Yeah.
practice?
Yeah, no, you don't leave, and there's no time to go get a quick nap in or whatever. So we'll start meetings at we start at 7. So
And this is during training camp.
this is during training
Okay.
camp.
What time? If y'all start at 7, what time are you in the seat?
I'm 5 minutes early. I'm always make sure I'm 5
Uh-huh.
minutes
I got
early
you.
because I don't want to get fined, and I don't want
Need all
my
those
job. Yeah.
coins.
I don't need all that, and
Yeah.
I don't want to lose my job over being late to a meeting.
Yeah, exactly.
Man,
So if we start at 7, I usually get there in about 6:15, get breakfast, start, studying the script for the day, and then meetings get rolling. Then you're into meetings for a couple hours, and then go practice. So that can go anywhere from 2.5 to 3 hours in training camp. After practice, you got recovery, that kind of deal, and then straight to lunch, and then it's either lift for an hour and a half. And then you go right back to meetings, dinner, more meetings, and then you get your install for the next day. You go home at, depending on the day, 7 or 8.
Wow, so you've been there since 6.
Yeah,
Wow. Okay.
And
12-hour
then-
shift.
yeah. And then you eat dinner or eat another snack before you go to bed, study, go to bed. I mean, it's just like that.
Got you. And your first year doing it, you was like, holy, this is different.
Man, I was like, does no one sleep around here ever? Am I the only one that feels like I'm not
did
sleeping?
you ever
Yeah.
look at somebody like, dude, is he tired?
Yeah. No, I mean, guys like Derek Carr who've been doing it for so long, and every day is a consistent day, and that's the biggest
Gotcha.
thing is it's not how good are you, is how consistent are you
For sure, for sure.
performing well.
For sure.
Because you can't have, especially in the league, you can't have, one day is great, one day is
Yeah.
not so great,
Yeah.
one day, so it's all about stacking good days, and
Gotcha.
that's what makes a pro.
So
pro
you
of
make it
those
through
guys.
training camp, you get that phone call to stay, to be on the practice team. How did that moment feel like for you? To like, hey, I'm on the roster, like,
Right.
practice squad. Like, how did that moment feel for you?
Both good and bad, I knew going in given my situation, that I just needed to get my foot in the door.
Exactly.
I had to do that. So I did everything I could to do that. Thought I had a good training camp. And I was, if someone went down, I was the next guy to go. So I'm not going to sit here and say I was mad about it, and but I was disappointed about it, because I felt like that I put myself in a position to play. So, it kind of was what it was.
And then, so being on the practice squad during the season, did you ever get called up to the active roster?
I played 6 games on the active roster.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
So it was predominantly special teams when I was getting pulled up. That's for the young guys listening. That's your ticket in. You got to play special teams.
That's what Chris Harris said.
Chris Harris said. Yeah,
Got to play
exactly
special teams, and then your role will develop from there.
Quick story, real quick. I was also talking to Coach Martin today. He said your first game active, I think.
He called a penalty on me. I was like, I saw him before the game, and I was like, oh, it's Coach Martin. He's going to help me out. And then it was a freaking kick return, and
What
you
he
can't
said, double block or something.
Yeah, you can't double team on the back line, and this is my first game, and I'm on wide eye, trying to keep my heart rate down and stuff, and guy comes screaming, and they get him late, but I'm like, I got to pick him up. So I hit him, and we kind of hit him at the same time, and I'm like looking around, like, please tell me we got away with it. And I see Clay throw it, and I'm like, what just happened? As you were my basketball coach, you watched me grow up, you know how big this moment is, and that's what you pull on me first game out.
So as you jogging off the field, you like, man,
I was like, dude, help me out. I was like, of all people, man. Of all people.
Smart.
Yeah. It's like, what a special moment. My first NFL game, my principal's the head referee.
For sure.
And he shot me right back down to reality real quick.
So as you jogging off the field, what did the special teams coach say to you?
They were like, what was the call? They were like the double team. And then, I told them what I saw, and I don't think I got chewed out till the meetings. So yeah.
But so when you got to the active roster, how was that phone call calling your dad and your mom and your wife like, hey, making my first debut?
It was special, man. That's everything you dream of.
Yeah,
Obviously,
for sure.
making it's one thing, and then playing on Sundays is a completely different thing.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
It was special. It was a surreal moment, but I was happy with the 6 games, playing 6 games, but I'm also looking to do more this year.
Yeah,
so.
gotcha.
At any moment during the first game of them 6 games, did you ever just stop on the sideline like, man, I'm really in the NFL?
Yeah, it was the national anthem as we were playing at MetLife. We were playing the Giants, and you're just looking around. You're like, this is real life. Like, you're actually doing this, So that was like the moment when it all kind of sunk in and hit me.
And you could toot your horn on a little bit. When did you realize like Dillon Stoner has a chance to wear an NFL jersey? When did, what age was you like, I could play in the league?
I'm gonna tell you, for us, like Dillon, like we seen you playing high school. You was one of them dudes.
You was
one of them dudes.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, for sure.
For me, I think it was my junior year of high school where I said, this is legit, and I got a shot at this. Going from playing both ways to winning the 400 and track, and I'm like, I know my work ethic, and I know what I'm capable of, and that's what I want to do, so why not go do it?
Did you win? What about, we're going back a little bit, did you win state any for track?
I won
400, right?
I won the 400 junior and senior year,
so.
and then we won state as a team sophomore year.
So, then you get a lot of, sometimes you get coaches or parents, they always, just play one sport.
Mm-hmm.
Can you kind of harp on that, like playing 2 sports is very important?
I'd say play them all. Growing up, each sport adds to something else. The things you do in tennis is hand-eye coordination.
Fact.
Soccer, helps you move and gives you agility. And basketball is also more conditioning and coordination and all that. So obviously track speaks for itself about keeping you in shape and whatnot. But no, I did them all, and then I played basketball through my sophomore year, and then just did the 2 from then on out. And it was never a question of maybe I should just do one. It was always, I'm going to do these 2.
Gotcha. I got you. We're here at the McLean Barbershop, Talk of the Town 918. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to get back to talking to Dillon Stoner.
And make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, Talk of the Town 918 edition. This episode is brought to you by thefanstop.com and a college t-shirt club. Get new and officially licensed t-shirts, long sleeves and hoodies delivered to your doorstep monthly from your favorite colleges. Their shirts are super soft. They offer clubs from all around Oklahoma, especially Division I schools, including OU, OSU, and Tulsa, and Arkansas. They also offer over 30 others, mostly Power 5 schools. Be sure to check out all options at thefanstop.com. Fanstop.com is based out of Oklahoma. Go to thefanstop.com and use the promo code T-Town and get 15% off for the first 6 months. This episode is brought to you by the Smith Family Agency. It's simple. They make sure you have the right insurance coverage on your home, auto, or business. They also have the best prices for insurance in Oklahoma. Call my guy Brian Smith with questions, and he will give you a quick quote. We trust him to always do the right thing for you and your family. Call Smith Family Agency at 918-417-7400 and tell them the Bubby sent you. Back at the McLean Barbershop, Talk of the Town 918. Got my guy Dillon Stoner here. I'm back for break. Dillon, you played for probably one of the best coach. We're gonna say the best coach to ever play high school football. Coach high school football.
In the state of Oklahoma and in the country. Well respected. Tell us what Coach Trimble meant to you during your high school career, even when you growing up. I mean, kids dream playing Little League football. I want to play with Coach Trimble.
Yeah.
What did he mean to you? And what was he like behind the scenes?
Yeah. I mean, he was what you saw was what you got with him. I mean, obviously growing up a Jenks kid and going to the games and stuff, it's like he's an icon. I mean, he's like I cannot wait to put on a jersey and play for that guy. And what made him so special was he always made it so very apparent that he cared for you as a person, not just a football player, what you could do on the field. And so that really stuck with me. And, unfortunately, when he got diagnosed with ALS, I got to see him at Oklahoma State. I think his daughter was getting an award, and he came up there. And we got to talk one more time before he passed away, and that was really special to me. So, man, he was an awesome guy. I respected him so much, and very blessed to say
Did he ever have to cuss out Dillon Stoner during high school?
There was one time I was trying to do a little too much with this punt.
What grade was you in?
I was a junior.
Okay.
I was trying to see if I could.
Never forget.
Yeah.
Reverse field?
I was trying to see. So I rugby punted all the time, and I'd always kind of look to see if I could make something shake or not.
You ran your little face.
I was thinking about it, and I took too long, and I had to cut back, and I just shanked it like 10 yards into the stands. And he just looks at me, and I'm like, you don't even have to say anything, but he did. He let me know about it.
I got you.
But I think that was one of the only times I can remember that I'm like, dang, I messed up there.
We had one interaction with Coach Trimble. Somebody kind of had hooked me and my brother up with him. He called us in for a meeting, and he actually was like, I've been hearing a lot about you guys, coaching and all that. I want you guys on our Jenks staff, but I don't have nothing varsity. I want you guys to do freshman, and then maybe next year we'll get you in varsity. So me and my brother, actually, we agreed to it. Like, we could learn under a legend and all that, and about 2-3 weeks later,
he got a call from
Broken Arrow, went over there, and then like 2 weeks later after him, I got a call from Broken Arrow.
Yeah.
It was varsity, so.
Okay, yeah. You can't pass that.
Yeah, for sure.
I get that.
So good dude.
No, that would have been what
so you growing up in Jenks, give us your top 5 Tulsa athletes. You don't have to say 5.
Yeah. First one off the top of my head is Trayvon Burry. I mean,
everybody say that too. Everybody.
He
say
was
that.
so just smooth. I mean, he never looked like he was trying. I mean, really.
Played running back, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Running back. I mean, it was just effortless to him. So that's the first one off the top of my head. I'm gonna put. I think Trey Brown's on that list. Just with everything that he could do. Who else, man? I think more so of guys that I've played with.
Yeah, for sure.
For me, Stephen Parker's in that list.
Yeah, he was special.
Playing alongside of him, even playing corner, I really didn't have to worry about too much with him standing back there. So that's 3. I'm trying to think of someone else, man. Steven, Trayvon, Jeremy Smith was fun to watch too.
Okay.
Yeah. And 5, I can't say
think.
5. There's so many more
Okay.
guys that I would
Yeah.
put in that category.
Now
Top
you
5.
you played at Jenks. And Jenks has been special for a long time. Who is since you've been born? When was you born in
98.
98. Since you was born, who is that number one Jenks player you think? Even if you didn't see him, just hearing like who
Yeah.
was the number one Jenks player?
I think it's got to be either Kiwan
Okay.
or Rocky.
Yeah, for sure.
I think it's probably a debate of those two guys.
Did you get a chance to see Kiwan?
I've seen the clip about it a million times.
On the TV?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. We was sitting in the end zone watching that. Man.
Yeah.
So we grew up with Kiwan.
Okay.
Yeah, we
We
grew up
lived in the
what's up.
same complex
Yeah.
before he moved to
before he
Jenks.
moved to Jenks.
Okay. I got you. Yeah.
Before he packed up and moved.
Right.
Grew up with it.
Yeah, but those two are probably at the top.
Okay. And what's one of your biggest like inspirations? Like, what's your why? Like, why is Dillon Stoner the way he is? Why does he work so hard? Like, I've heard that you've never been outworked. Coach Martin told me that, and Coach Duffy told me that before too. Like, what drives you to go so hard?
So I had an uncle who had Down syndrome,
Gotcha.
and people with physical and mental disabilities, they don't choose to have them. No one chooses or decides to be born with an extra chromosome. And thinking about that and thinking about how much God blessed me in my life to give me the ability to run and work and lift and do all these things, why not do it the best and hardest you can? Because one, you never know when it's going to be over. You know, I mean, your career could end and snap a finger, and mine almost did.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
you
for
said.
sure.
Yeah.
And so, that and doing it for those people that can't, I feel like I'm disrespecting my gift from God if I don't put everything I have into it.
Gotcha.
So, and being married, love you.
She's gonna get you.
Yeah.
Go ahead, say her name.
Yeah, I love you, Bethany. Mrs. Stoner, the new Mrs. Stoner.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Hey, so, one day, I mean, you don't want to think about it now, but one day, football's going to be over and done with.
Right.
Do you know what you want to do after football is done?
Yeah, man, I got a couple ideas. I think one that I've been talking to some people about is I'd love to, have a facility open to where we could train kids like quarterbacks and wide receivers specifically. And then I talked to Darnell about it a little bit today, just growing that and just helping, the kids in the Tulsa area to just coach them and give them the coaching that they're going to receive at the next level. Give them that, extra little kick to speed up the recruiting process or whatever, just help them out. So that's something that I want to do. I don't know when or how long that'll be, but that's definitely on the forefront of my mind after football.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
We appreciate you coming, Dillon.
Sure. Yeah.
And before you get out of here, play Jenks, went to college, played undrafted free agent on the NFL roster now. Give the young people some motivation, like some tips or anything you can for the young people. Just give them a little lesson real quick before you get out of here.
So when I went on my Arkansas visit, I met Keon Hatcher. And he came up to me, we're just kind of talking. He said, I'm going to leave you with this. If you do what everyone else does, you're going to be just like everyone else.
That's a fact.
And
Say that again, Dillon.
If you do what everyone else does, you're going to be just like everyone else. And that's with workouts, that's with school, that's with everything in life. So I always try to put, even if it's 10 more minutes of extra work, try to separate yourself. But, I just always strive to do more than what everyone else is doing. So I think that can take you a long way in life and sports as well.
For sure. And we appreciate you coming. We got Dillon Stoner, played at Jenks, went to OSU, played for the Las Vegas Raiders now. Appreciate you.
Thank you,
Talk
guys.
of the Town 918, episode 10.